sat alone in her apartment, the flickering light of the TV casting eerie shadows on the walls. The sound of a movie played in the background, barely registering in her mind. A half-empty glass of red wine rested on the table, and outside her window, the city of New York pulsed with life. Distant sirens, honking cars, the murmurs of a world that never truly slept. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. She worked as an editor for a publishing company, lived in a small yet cozy apartment, and though she didn't have many close friends, she had grown used to her solitude. But that night, something felt off. The first call came precisely at 12 a.m. The landline rang, its shrill sound cutting through the silence like a knife. Claire frowned. No one ever called her landline. Nearly everyone she knew contacted her through her cell phone. She hesitated, staring at the phone. The fifth ring. Finally, she picked up the receiver and held it to her ear. "Hello?" Silence. Only a faint crackling noise, like an old radio struggling to find a signal. Claire waited, uneasy, about to hang up when... "Claire?" The voice was a whisper, soft, distant, almost drowned out by the static. Claire froze. "Who is this?" she asked, her voice sharper than intended. No answer. The static grew louder. "This is just a stupid prank," she muttered, hanging up. She tried to dismiss it, returning to her couch and sipping her wine. But there was something about that voice, something that sounded familiar. That night, Claire had trouble sleeping. At exactly 12 a.m., the phone rang again. Claire's stomach twisted. She let it ring, 5 times, 6, 10. Then suddenly, silence. Her heart pounded. That night, she woke up to the sound of a whisper. In the darkness of her bedroom, something felt wrong. The air was colder, and in the corner of her room, the shadows seemed darker than usual. She held her breath, listening. "Claire." Her pulse nearly stopped. It was the same voice from the phone. But this time, the voice was inside her room. Panicked, she switched on her bedside lamp. The shadows vanished, and her room returned to its usual state. Claire sat on her bed, trying to steady her breathing. The next morning, she decided to forget about it, but one question haunted her mind. Who was calling her? Night 3. Fear began to creep into Claire's life. When 12 a.m. arrived, she sat at her kitchen table, staring at the phone as if expecting it to do something. The first ring, the second. She picked it up. "Hello?" Static. Then a voice, clearer this time, a child's voice. "It's me. You forgot about me." Claire felt her blood turn to ice. That voice sounded so familiar, like someone she once knew, long ago. Who is this?" she whispered. The voice broke into soft sobs. "Please, don't forget me." Click. The call ended. Claire slumped in her chair, her hands shaking. She knew that voice. But it was impossible, because that voice belonged to Lily, her sister, who had died 20 years ago. Night 4. Claire spent the entire day digging through old boxes, searching for anything from her childhood. She found an old, dust-covered photo album. Flipping through its pages, she saw her and Lily. They were smiling, their arms wrapped around each other. Lily was 2 years older, with blonde hair always tied in a ponytail and a soft, gentle smile. But Claire's memories of Lily had always been hazy, until the lake. That day, Lily died saving her. Claire had been only 5 years old. She slipped into the deep water and couldn't swim. Lily had jumped in to pull her to safety. Claire survived. But Lily never resurfaced. After that, their family rarely spoke of Lily. It was as if she had been erased, buried in time. And Claire, over the years, had forgotten. But now, Lily had returned, and she was angry. Night 5. Claire waited for the call. 12 a.m. The first ring, the second. She lifted the receiver with trembling hands. "Lily?" No static this time, only silence. Then a voice, soft, but filled with sadness. "You forgot me, Claire." Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. I didn't mean to. I was just a kid. Why didn't you ever look for me?" Claire sobbed. I was scared." "Please, don't forget me again." Claire squeezed the phone tightly, shutting her eyes. "I won't forget you, Lily. I promise silence." Then, the voice softened, almost relieved. "Thank you." Click. The line went dead, and from that night on, Claire's phone never rang at midnight again. But every now and then, when she passed by a mirror, she would see something in the reflection. A faint figure of a little girl with blonde hair, a soft smile, and eyes that seemed to whisper, "I'm still here. I will never truly leave."